Hello, seventh grade. Welcome back. We are looking at lesson 3 today. So today you're actually going to conduct the research on the topic of your podcast. So you'll refine your research questions, you'll evaluate sources, and begin gathering information that will eventually be the content of your podcast. Before we do that, let's go ahead and do our entrance ticket for today. Let's spend some time doing this independently and then going over it as a class. You are trying to recall these research terms without looking back in your vocab logs. So let's go ahead and pause the video and work through this, have some discussion, and then come back to me when you're ready to move forward. All right, guys, we have one learning target today. I can research to answer questions about epidemics. Remember, our research questions are not too narrow, but not too broad. They're specific to the topic. They're significant. So think about, yes, it's important to you, but is it important to others? And they're answerable. They're questions that have an answer and that can be found using research and sources. We went over this last class. If your teacher feels the need to go over it again, that's fine. If not, we're going to jump into our epidemic research planner. So you have quite a few things that you've got to do. Remember the sections of the podcast that we went over yesterday. You've got to have an intro. You've got to have some sources. So those are the things that you're going to want to list here, okay? The research jobs that you are doing and when you are doing them and when they are due by. That is certainly up to Miss Mitchell and your teacher. I'm going to pull up my note catcher. Epidemic research. Nope, that's not what I want. Epidemic research planner. This is what I want. I'm going to be looking at the same thing you guys are. Okay, so the task. So I'm going to give you these and I want you to fill them in. The first task, research, narrative lead. Where and when? Who? What was it like? How did it start? That should all go in the first box. Second task, research, scientific and social ideas and or effects. Your teacher might have to pause and rewind this video. That's fine. Here are your questions. What were the scientific ideas, and what were the effects of these ideas? What were the social ideas and what were the effects of these ideas? The third task, tools, mindset, and habits of character. What tools did people use to respond? What mindset and habits of character did they show? The last part is message. What did people learn? What should others know? Okay. All right. So today you are getting ready to begin your research. This is an example. Okay. Where and when did the polio epidemic take place? I want you guys to turn and talk. If this were your question, how might you research to answer your question and what steps would you take? Turn and talk and then have some class discussion about this and come back to me when you're ready to move forward. Okay, guys, I'm just going to remind you, these are your podcast sections. Every podcast has to have the same 4 sections. We just went over the questions that need to be answered for each section. You can rewind the video if you need to. You're getting ready to begin your research, okay? Research looks like note-taking, evaluating sources, paraphrasing, which means putting something research that you found online into your own words, quoting, so recording someone else's words. So I want you guys to begin your research for the next 25 minutes. Again, this is what that's going to look like. You're going to take your epidemic. You're going to start figuring out the what, the when, the where, the who, the what was the mindset, how did this affect people, that kind of thing. You're doing this for the next 25 minutes. Please go ahead, pause the video, and begin your research. The last thing that we're going to do before we leave today is in a group of 3 or a triad, review your notes, annotate the most interesting or strongest information that you found to answer research questions and complete the task. And then I want one group of 3 to join another group of 3 and share questions and information. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'll see you guys soon in lesson 4.